At the end of this video, there's a sneak peek at My Paranormal Life, years 1 to 11. The animation's a bit rough at the moment, and the music's not quite there. I'd appreciate any feedback you can give on what you think. Thanks for watching. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Michael Lee Pennock, and this is Evidence Pending, My Paranormal Life. Today I'd like to answer a question I've been asked many times, and I'm going to give my honest answer. Some people won't like what I'm about to say, some people will, and some people will just disbelieve, mock and scoff. And that's their prerogative. I've been asked, is there life after death? And I say, yeah, for sure. 100% there is. And why do I say this? Because my earliest interaction that I can recall from childhood, which goes way back to the time laying in a cot looking out the bars at the shadows across the ceiling, and the man who used to interact with me that others couldn't see. Now this wasn't an imaginary friend. This was a spectre, a spirit, a spook, a ghost, whatever you want to call them. To me, it was as real as my mum and the people around me at the time. I used to point, laugh, and as I began to speak, articulate what the man was doing, where he was. He lived in that house. He'd go into the kitchen, he'd turn taps on, and he'd do other things. Some of them sinister. He once picked me up and put me onto a at least 6 foot high backyard wall, which are common in the north of England, particularly in the Middlesbrough area, in the town where I came from. People had yards and they were separated by brick walls. The man put me on the wall and I tumbled off, breaking my arm. I wasn't very old. Another time, he picked me up, put me in a cupboard, put a teddy bear in front of me and closed the doors. This was a food cupboard in the kitchen. My mum was frantic. Went to the neighbours, the neighbourhood. All the people were out looking to find the child that had gone missing. The police were even called. And while 2 WPCs were talking to my mum in the kitchen, my arm must have moved during my sleep and I knocked the kitchen cupboard which came open, and there they found me. No one could figure out how I'd got in there. Believe me, it wasn't anybody within the house that put me there. Nobody living. I've heard people say the dead can't hurt you. Well, maybe they can't. But what I can say is this. They can scare you, and they can manipulate you, especially if you're young. I once was left in a swing. You know, it was just a stand with 4 legs, a seat, and some rope. And once put in there, at the age I was, it'd be very difficult for me to get out. But obviously I could rock and enjoy myself. Obviously the man didn't like the idea of me being left alone, so he took me out, opened the stair door and beckoned me and said, "Come, let's go and play." And I followed him up the stairs. Half calling, half walking, I hit the landing at the top, where the man proceeded to open up what was the toy room. In the toy room was a lot of toys. My mum had bought all manner of toys for me. But the man wheeled out a metal 3-wheeled tricycle. He then said to me, "Get on and he'll give me a push." So I did, young and trusting that I was. And the next thing I know, he pushed me. And the tricycle spread towards the stairs, and the stairs went straight down and round at an angle. And I remember hitting every single one of them, tumbling. I ended up having to go to the hospital but no serious damage done, just I had a lot of bumps and bruises. The man later tried to hurt a member of the household who decided to ask, "What do you want and what are you doing here?" And the lady in question, who I referred to as Big Me because I couldn't say the word Marie when I was young, I said, "Big Me, he don't like you." And then he made it quite clear. Knives and forks came flying from the kitchen and embedded in the doorway or wall behind the lady. You've got to remember this has happened in around about 1972 to 73. And some parts of my memory are not as good as they used to be. But nevertheless, this is a fact. Marie was a Catholic and so convinced my mum to get some rosary beads, and her and my stepfather at the time went to the local church, got some rosary beads, made sure they were very strong ones, well put together, and then placed them around my cot. Later that night, when I was asleep, the man came and he was furious. He tore apart the rosary beads, scattering them all over the room. We moved from Chalk Street some time after that. I couldn't tell you how long. But the next time the man appeared, he was at my nan's house. And I was asleep in bed with my nan, wearing a pair of pyjamas. And suddenly I heard, "Michael, Michael." And the voice came from outside of the room in the passageway. So being young and unafraid, I got up, opened the door, and went to the top of the landing where the man, still calling my name, was at the bottom of the stairs. And he put his hands up and went, "Jump and I'll catch you." And in that split second, without hesitation, I went to jump. And suddenly I was grabbed on the back of my pyjamas like that and stopped. I dare say if I had jumped, I wouldn't be here now telling you this story, because that would have been the end of this life. But my nan had woke up and grabbed the back of my pyjamas, and then she went off at the man, cursing him. And I believe she spoke in another language, maybe some form of Irish, but I can't be certain. After that, I didn't see the man again, not for a long time. I hope you enjoyed this short true story, and I will see you on the other side. You've been watching Evidence Pending, My Paranormal Life. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and maybe hit the bell icon if you want to see the videos as we release them. Sometimes it's not so much I'm living my life, but as if I'm remembering it. Here I am in the darkness, waiting to be born.
Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you before you were born. I set you apart.
This is the town I was born in. It was the year 1971. And yeah, it was in the northeast of England in Middlesbrough. There's one of the old blue buses. Here's my mum and dad walking down Chalk Street. Don't they look happy? There's my mum and dad outside the Masham Hotel. Quick kiss and off they're gone. And here's the Green Tree pub. It used to be across the road from my house. That's my Auntie Beryl, always in a rush to do something or the other. And there's my beautiful mum. And it's summer. The summer turned to autumn. And there I am, the bump in her belly. My mum had to go to the hospital. Parkside Maternity Hospital. There it is. And here's me mum, having an interview with a doctor, who's telling her, in no uncertain terms, that if the baby doesn't kick and move, then the baby's going to have to be removed, because she'd be in danger if I was dead and rotting away inside her. But my mum weren't having none of it. She was really unhappy. The doctor took a few more examinations and said, look, we can't get an heartbeat, so it's just a matter of time. You're going to have to stay in. So she stayed in the hospital. Poor mother, she's worried sick. Here she is, sitting in the hospital bed, hoping for a miracle. And suddenly, there was a misty appearance of light on the wall, and this guy appeared. She says it was Jesus. He said, the son's going to be fine. And without another word, he disappeared. And no, my mum wasn't on drugs. My mum sat there feeling confused. She sure wasn't going to tell the doctors, but she did tell me Auntie Beryl. And my Auntie Beryl told her off, saying she shouldn't say things like that and that she was mad. She even slapped her in the face. As you can imagine, it was quite a traumatic experience for her, sitting in that hospital bed. But he gave her time to think. Waited till the doctor come round and swore blind. He felt me kicking him in the stomach. Not long after that, I was born by caesarean section. Here I am, crying. Like all newborn babies make that sound. Why? That's what babies sound like to me, and always have done. Maybe it's the realisation I've been born into this world again. The nurse came in with my mum. My mum looked down, but what she saw, because she was so doped up from the drugs the hospital gave her, was this. She thought I had 4 noses, 4 eyes and 4 lips. Thankfully I didn't.